Good morning, everyone. Yeah, good morning. Welcome to the Mercury Virtual. So, shall we begin the session? Yes, in the last class we have started with our. In the last class we have finished with the introduction with the revision of the project designing and the evaluation. Today I'm going to continue with the same, that is the revision of the quality system that is used with the instruction material, that is used with the training. So let's see what are the various common issues that is presented over here, what are the various terms that is used over here. So let's see with the audio video presentation. So shall we start or shall we wait for others? Okay, so shall we wait? Okay, so wait for only 2 minutes, not more than that, because today I'm in a hurry to solve the issues. So let's stop over here. So let's start with the first. What is the lesson objective with this one? You will be able to understand, that is demonstrate the knowledge of how, when and why to use the staircase aids. That means aids means what are the various technology that is used. Training aids by developing the aids for practice teaching session. That means how to use, when to use and why to use. These are the three questions that must be decided in advance. That is how, when and why to use training aids by developing aids for practice teaching sessions. Then use the four-step teaching learning process. So let's see what is the main step, what are the various four-step teaching learning process in the developing the practice teaching demonstration. So first one is demonstrate the knowledge of how, when and why. How means how it is done, when means the timing, and why, what is the use to you, or what is why to use the training aids by developing the aids for practice teaching sessions. The next is use the four-step teaching learning process in developing practice teaching demonstrations. Then incorporate at least two teaching methods in describe in this section into practice teaching demonstrations. What are the various teaching sessions that is used in the demonstration? So incorporate at least two teaching method that is described in this section into practice. What is the main practice that is used in this section into practice teaching demonstration? So first is demonstrate how, when and why we are using the teaching learning methods for the practice teaching sessions. Then what is the four-step teaching learning process in developing the practice teaching demonstration? What is the practice teaching demonstration that is used in the learning process? The next one is incorporate at least. Incorporate in the sense use at least two teaching method that describe in the session, or that is described in this section into practice teaching demonstration. So out of these four, we have to use at least two teaching. Why we are using the two teaching method in this section into the practice, into the use by using the teaching or the practice teaching demonstrations. Then show ability to use questions effectively in practice teaching demonstration. So ability to use means in perfect manner it is used, in perfect scenario it is used. So show the ability to use the questions effectively in practice teaching demonstration. How to use the practice teaching demonstration. So what is the ability to use? What is the use that is available for the practice teaching sessions? So show the ability to use the questions effectively in the practice teaching demonstrations. How to use the practice teaching demonstrations? What are the various questions that is used? So it is the ability to use the question effectively. Because when we use, so friends, when we see that when we use the aids or when we use the projector, so there are more question, more and more clarity as compared to the normal. You're taking the PRTs for the primary, so children are more attractive for the pictures rather than the theory, I think. Now, these are the various objective of this session. That is a mixture of this, that is the learning objectives. Now, what are the various steps that is used in effective use of the audio visual aids? First is, let's see what are the various steps. First is planning by the instructor, then selection of the aid. So first of all, plan out what to use, why to use, when to use. So we have to plan out by the, or planning is done by the instructor. As a teacher, you are the instructor. Then selection of the aid. What is the main selection of the aid? Why we are using this one? And preparation of the equipment. Preparation of the equipment means either the projector is ready or not. Then preparation of the students of the class members. Preparation in the sense whether the attendance is full or not. So first is planning, then selection, then preparation of the equipment, then preparation of the class of the student of the class members. Then summary of the information, whether this summary is exactly this one, that means crux of the, or at the end there is a summary of the information. Then discussion of the information. After the summary, there's a discussion how to use a summary. So we have to discuss the things, we have to discuss the material, that is the discussion of the information. So first of all, there is a planning, then there is a selection. After the selection, there is a preparation of the equipment, then preparation of the student or the class members, then summary of the information, and at last discussion of the information. So these are the 5 steps, we can say the stages that is used over here. Sorry, 6 steps. One is a planning, then there is a selection, then there is a preparation of the equipment, preparation of the student, then summary of the information, and at last discussion of the information. Summary of the information means summarize what we have or what is going to do, then discussion of the information. Now, what are the various example of the aids why we or how we can make the session interactive? So main is selecting, integrating the approaches. So either you can use our computer projectors, flip charts, dry erase board, DVDs, digital audio, digital video, radio, internet, exhibits, exhibitions, models, compact discs, CDs, charts, poster, or television. So these are the various, we can say these are the various example of the tools why we are using this one, or what is the main usage, or how we are using the this technology. Then why we use the aids? Why we use the aids means why we use these technology, that is the aids. The first one is focused attention on the point being made. So there's a focus that is given on the attention, or that there is attention on the point that is being made. These are the various points that is being discussed. So there is a focus attention on the point being made, then generate the interest. It generates the interest. So first of all, focus the students or focus the attention on for the students, then generate the interest in the sense how to use, when to use, that is generating the interest of the students, then arouse the curiosity among the, yes, what is the next slide, why we are using this one, so that is arouse the interest around the curiosity of the of the attention, then enhance the understanding of the topic, that is more clarity than the normal text and the normal study, that is enhance the understanding of the topic. Then increase the retention of the message. Retention of the message means there is a deep retention of the message that is being studied about, that is being teaching about. So there is a more and more retention of the messages, that is the increased retention of the messages. That means message will be retained in the mind when we see the picture as comparison to the study the theory, right? These are the various terms why we use aids. Now this will continue. This also when we use the various technology. So that also show the successive steps in a process. That means first step is this, then next step in a pictorial format, in the picture format. The next one is add the bill availability. Bill availability in the sense what are the various terms that is used in the bill availability. So add the bill availability to the students. Then presentation is more fun to give. So when we give the presentation, that is more funny or more fun to give, then may be used when where the real object cannot be shown. So it can be used, for example, I want to see the practical way, but it's not possible to see the practical way, so we can use, for example, I'm talking about my topic, that is the computers. If I want to show the router to the student, it's not possible for me to see the routers or see the bridges over there. So I see the, or I can use the real objects in the presentations. Now, what are the various questions that is to ask before? So, what are the various questions that is to ask before using the aid? So, whether I am using the technology, so what technology I am using, that has meet the objectives or not? Does it support the lecture plan or not? Or lesson plan, whether what we plan, does it meets them, that is support them? Is it current and accurate? Does it avoid the extraneous details? That means there is no extra details. There is no hodgepodge of the data over there. Now, what are the questions to ask before using it? This is the same. This is a continue. It is well designed. Can the teaching points be adequately visualized? So whatever the teaching point that can be perfectly visualized as per the student scenario, not as per the teacher scenario, that is okay, but as per the student scenario, whether it is perfectly visualized or not. Can the aid be made within the organization? So this will be used, or this will be made within the organization, or it is an export or exported from the other organizations. It is sufficient lead time available to create the aid. So whether the time is available or sufficient lead time is available to this one for aid. These are the various questions that must be asked before using aid. So these are the various parts. Now, basic selection guide for the aids. What are the various basic selection that is used for the aid? Now, select the aids that fits the maturity, interest, and the abilities of the group. So select the aids, select the criteria. Now select the aid that fits the maturity, interest, and the abilities of the group. Then select the aids that most appropriate for a particular learning activity. So first is aid that fits the maturity, interest, and the ability. Then what is the most accurate data for using the, or select the aids that is used for the perfectful or a particular learning activity. Then maintain a balance in the kinds of the aids selected, whatever the aids selected, so that maintains a balance over there. Select the aid that complements rather than duplicate. That complement in the sense that provides the extra capabilities rather than duplicate or other than the learning procedures. Then avoid the overuse of the aids. So there is no that I'm teaching with the use of aids. There are some things that we have to teach over the green board or the white board. That is we can use, that is relevance for this one. So we have to use the balanced distribution of the boards. So we have to avoid the overuse of the aids. Ask yourself, will advanced learning? Now, a good visual aid should clarify an abstract idea, show a sequence, explain a relationship, depict hard to get parts, unusual parts. Yes, very good. And the things that generally difficult to observe. Yes, because I have to see the deep. For example, I want to see I want to explain the ear. There is a deep procedure that is followed up. So that deep procedure, that deep knowledge, that deep parts will be explained easily with the help of a visual aids. Be large enough and clear enough to be visible. So be large enough, clear to be visible over here. That is very large and clear to be visible. Then be in color for a contrast to emphasize and highlight the interest. So that is the color contrast will be very accurate as per the student scenario. If it is a 11-12 student, senior secondary student, that is okay for everything. But for a small shelters, it is very good to do the bright colors, to use the bright colors over here. Then include only the necessary explanatory written materials. That means when you are, for example, you are presenting with the help of the PPTs. So either you can use the click to add notes area. So it includes only those notes that requires mandatory or that is very necessary. Attractive and professional in experience. So that presentation must be attractive and presentation must be professional in experience. Now, this is one part, that is demonstration is done. Next part is first step teaching learning process. This is the first step teaching learning process. So let's see what are the various 4 steps. So let's see what are the various 5 steps, what are the various 4 steps that is used over here, what are the various 4 stages that is used in the teaching learning process. The first step is the preparation. So we have talked about, or we have finished with a demonstration how to use that. Next is the 4th step teaching learning process. What are the various 4 stages, what are the various 4 steps that is used in the teaching or the learning process. First one is the preparation, then next one is the presentation, next one is the evaluation or application, then next one is the evaluation. So these are the 4 phases or 4 stages that is used. These are the 4 steps that is used in the teaching learning processes. First one, preparation, then presentation, third, application, fourth, evaluation. So what are the four stages? Preparation, presentation, application, evaluation. So I'm just giving you a brief idea what is the preparation. Preparation in the sense we have to prepare in advance, whether the best example is that if I'm going to present this presentation to you, I have to first check that this is working, whether whiteboard is used or whiteboard is available or not. So we have to prepare the things, we have to prepare the material, whether the preparation is done successfully or not. Then next one is the presentation, whether yeah, how to present the ideas, whether the audience are suitable with my ideas, with my opinions, that is the presentation. The next one is application, whether the application that is used, whether the criteria that is used is well furnished or not, that is the application. The next one is the evaluation. We are evaluating the things, we are evaluating the material, how it is done, why it is done, and what is the use of this evaluation. So one is the preparation, then presentation, then application, then evaluation. Application in the sense, apply these terms to the various terms, apply these terms to the various scenarios, and at last there is the evaluation, whether we are applied the things successfully or not. So we evaluate after making the application, after using the application. So presentation, preparation, presentation, application, evaluation. So let's see. First one is preparation. Preparing the instructor, very good. Preparing the environment in the sense projectors, whiteboard markers, everything. Then preparing the learners. Learners are prepared or not, whether everyone is sitting on the seat or not. Now, these are the three terms: instructor, environment, and the learners. Now, key elements is what are the various. So first one is either we are using the method successfully or not. That is the methods, ways of teaching the lesson. Then lesson, that is a material selected for a specific presentation. So methods are used, that is a way of teaching the presentation or the ways. Then material that is selected for a specific presentation, that is a lesson. Then lesson plan. So one is what are the various method that is used. Method is the sense what are the various ways or the techniques we are using. What are the various ways by which we are using, that is the methods. So ways of teaching the lesson. Then lesson, that is the material we are using for specific. For example, I'm using this material. So first element is the methods. What are the various methods we are using? Then lesson. Then there is a lesson plan. Lesson plan in the sense, lesson plan, that means the schedule for the lesson or what we are going to use, that is a lesson plan. So these are the three things, three elements that is used for the presentation. One is the methods, one is the lesson, one is a lesson plan. Then next one is steps in planning the presentation. What are the various steps that is used in planning the presentation? First one is establish the objective. What is the main objective of the presentation? Why we are using the presentation? What is the main motto? What is the main motto in the sense why we are using the presentation? What is the main motto? That is the objective. Then research the topic. Research the topic in the sense what is the main topic that is used, what is the main scenario that is used. So there's the research of the topic, that is the research the topic. So first one is establish objective, then research the topic, then organize material into three basic parts, that is the introduction, body, conclusion. So there are three parts over here. One is one is the introduction, then next one is the body, then next one is a conclusion. So first is establish the objective, then research the topic, then organize the material into three basic parts, that is the introduction, body, and the conclusion. Then select the instructional methods. So first is establish the objective, what is the main objective, then research the topic, then organize the material into three basic parts, that is the introduction, body, and conclusion. Then what are the various instructional method that is used, then prepare the lesson plan. So objective, then research the topic in the sense research means analyze the topic, what is the topic, then organize the material into three basic parts. One is the introduction, then at last this is the body, and at last at the end there is a conclusion. Then select the instructional method. In the sense any good method, any method that provides the instructions. Then prepare the lesson plan. So these are the steps. Then determine your purpose: to inform, instruct, or clarify, to get people to act, believe, or feel, or to persuade. So what is the main purpose of using the presentation? Either to inform someone, either to instruct, either to teach. Your method is to teach to the students. Then to get people to act, believe, or feel, or to persuade. So this is the reason why we are using this one, to get the people to act, behave, or feel, or to persuade. This is the next scenario. Then to make people feel good, to entertain. So to make the people feel good, whether to use this one, whether to make the people feel good or to entertain, the methods. Now next is choose the main ideas. Choose main ideas. What are the various main ideas that is chosen out? So 2 or 3 ideas are usually enough, we can say. Then consider the listener's ability to understand the ideas. What is the listener ability that is used to understand the ideas? What is the main idea about this one? What is the main usage of this one? Then consider the listener's attitude towards the idea. One is the listener's ability to understand the ideas. One is the listener attitude towards the ideas. Then be sure you can make the idea clear to prove it. So how to choose the main ideas? 2 or 3 ideas are usually enough. Choose a listener's ability to understand the idea. Listener's ability in the sense who are going to listen, or whosoever the listeners. So consider the listener's ability to understand the idea. Then listener's attitude towards the ideas. Then be sure you can make the idea clear or prove it. Now these are the various main ideas. You have to choose the idea. Then presentation structure, introduction, body, summary or conclusion that I've studied. These are the 3 parts. So introduction means introduction about the topic, what we are going to do. Then body means the presentation of the slide. Summary or the conclusion means at last. Okay, thanks a lot everyone. Bye-bye everyone. This is the main case scenario that is used over there. Now next is the support material. What are the various support material? Either you can use the illustrations, that is the examples, specific instances, specific, we can say the examples or the scenarios, then explanations, analogy or the comparisons. Analogy in the sense we have to analyze, we have to use the analogy for the comparisons. Then statistics, either you can use the stats, that is the figures that is used over here. So whatsoever the figure, whatsoever the bar graph, whatsoever the histogram that we are using, that is the statistics. Then testimony. Either you can use the testimony, either you can use the restatement and the repetitions. These are the various support materials. Now, presentation methods. What are the various presentation methods? So first one is the teaching methods and the material in which the teacher is, or maybe the main participant. So what are the various teaching methods and the material in which the teacher is the main participant, teacher is the main concern. Then group discussion, group learning, individual learning. So these are the four scenarios. These are the 4 presentation method that is used. So first one is the teaching methods and the material in which the teacher or maybe the main participant. Then group discussion, then group learning, then individual learning. Now, methods where teacher is the main participant: lecture, demonstration by the teachers, visual aids, textbooks, evaluation, student-teacher planning, use of the commercial material, community resources. So these are the various methods where teacher is the main participant. Now let's see what are the various group discussion methods: informal discussion, committee work, debates, panels, oral reports, role playing, symposium, dialogue. Now let's see what are the various group learning methods. One is a class problems, contest, demonstrations. Either you can use the class problem in the sense any problem or the solution, anything that you want to deal. Then contest, then demonstrations, displays or the exhibits, or we can use the display boards, either we can use the exhibits. Then experiments, what are the various experiment that is used over here, what are the various experiment methods. Then field trips, surveys, skits, these are the various group learning method, group learning criteria that is used. What are the various group learning, we can say the assessment technology that is used over here. Next one is the individual learning methods. So that is a group is okay. Either we can use exhibits, either we can use the class problems, done. Then individual learning, either we can use the learning activity knowledge. Learning activity knowledge in the sense, there are various packages that is available for the learning activities. Then individual counsel. Individual counsel is also available for these terms. Then supervised study, there is a supervised study also. Then interviews, manual and the workbooks. So there is a supervised study, there are various manuals, there are various workbooks that is also used. Then observations, observation in the sense how to do the observation with the content, with the criteria that is used over here. Then reference reading, reference reading in the sense what are the various criteria by which we are using the reference material. Then research. So first one is the learning activity packages, then individual counsel, then supervised study, interviews, manual workbook, observation, reference reading, research, work experience. Now next is the factors affecting method selection. What are the various factors that affects, what are the various methods, what are the various ways by which we can select the methods. So first one is the objective. What objective? What needs to be taught? What needs to be taught in the sense? What is the main objective that is used over here? What is the main concern over here? Then the type of the student. What is the background of the students? Then size of the class, available facilities, available time. So these are the various factors that use for which method you have to select. Either you can use the dialogue, either you can use the teaching, whatever the material, whatever the method that you have selected. That depends on the objective, that depends on the type of the student, size of the class, available facilities, available time. Then how to hold the interest. How to hold the interest means how to generate the interest, hold the interest by either using the activity. There are multiple activities that is used in the primary. That is, you can use or you can hold the interest by using the activity or the movements. Then reality and the concreteness. Concreteness in the sense you have to concrete, you have to focus on this one. Then nearness. Nearness in the sense you have to do the nearness about the concept. Familiarity, novelty, suspense, conflict, humor. So these are the various ways how to hold the interest, how to get that data. So one is the activity of the moment, then there is a reality of the concreteness, nearness, and similarity of familiarity and the suspense, conflict, humor. Then how to communicate. Either you can use the direct method, either you can use the postures, movement, gesture, facial expression, your voice. Now, we have done with the two parts. One is a one is a preparation, one is a presentation, how to present the idea. The next one is the application. Application means how to do the practical way, we can say. So how the learner tell or show. Then correct the errors, whatever the errors, and question learners why, what, how. Continue questioning until you know that they know everything, that they get everything. This is the application. The next one is the application and the learning. The most effective way of the learning is by doing things. Then repetition is necessary, whatsoever the repetition that is used. Then it is easier to learn it right the first time than to chat with the wrong habit. Then teach using all the five senses. Whatever the five senses that is used, so teach with all the five senses. That means be active in the participation, be active in the details of the participation. So we have done with the application, we have done with the application and the learning. Next one is the evaluation. In evaluation, you have to evaluate the things, that is completement, correct errors and the reteach, designate to whom to go further help, then taper off into the normal supervision. This is the evaluation. Then testing, way of checking in the beginning, along the way, that is finally you have done this one, finally you have done this one. So this is the way how it is done, along the way as well as the finally, whether the learner have achieved the objectives. It is a way of checking in the beginning, along the way as well as finally, whether the learner have achieved the objectives. Then not only test the learners but the instructors program. So this is only not to test the learners, but it is also a program that is used by the instructors. The next one is the testing, that is continue. Test also can it also can detect the instructional flows as well as the training errors or training errors. Then testing should be used to improve the preparation, presentation, and the application steps. What are the various application steps? What are the various ways by which we can present the things, prepare the things, and the application steps? Now, why questions? Why question in the sense? Why? Next question is why? To provoke or stimulate the thoughts, to give the students an opportunity to express themselves. So why questions means why we are using the questions to provoke or stimulate the thought. What is the thought that is provoked? What is the main scenario that is used over here? Then to give the students an opportunity to express this. So this is also a question. So if the questions are arised by the students, so that gives the opportunity to express themselves. Then to aid the teacher in assessing the student progress. So also a teaching method. If the questions are arising more and more, that means the student will teach or will learn very effectively. To aid the student in assessing the personal progress. So these are the various questions that is used with this, that is used with the various criteria. And questions that helps the instructor. So these are the various questions that helps the instructors. Motivate the group. Find out what learners already know. So first of all, motivate the group. Motivate in the sense, motivate the group, motivate the people that is used in the group, that is available in the group. Find out what learners already know. Find out what they know and what they are going to teach. Then encourage active participation by the learners. Encourage active participation in the sense we have to do the active participation by the learners, that is used in the active participation, that is used in the active criteria. Then spot check the effectiveness of the instructions. Instruction in the sense first whatsoever the data, whatsoever the instruction that we are using. So spot check the effectiveness of the instruction presented. Now these are the various questions that helps the instructors. Then next is clarify a point the student has not understood. So if the point is not understood by the student, so you have to clarify again and again until and unless the student is satisfied with the content. Then stress important points. What are the various important points that is stressed out, that is used out? Then keep the attention of the group. Keep the attention of the group means take out the attention of the group. Then review the material originally. Review the material, whatsoever the material that is used, so review the material originally. Then next is should be worded so the learners cannot answer unless he or she really knows. Should be brief and easily understood. Should be limited to one main thought. So it should be limited to the one's main thought. Then must have a specific purpose directly related to the subject being studied. Whatever the data that is being studied, so that will be used with the studied about, that will be used with the subject matter that is being studied. Now, when instructors may want to ask questions at the beginning of the lesson of the topic, at the end of the specific point of the issue, at the end of the unit of the lesson, at any critical point, whenever receiving negative feedback. So these are the various ways when the instructor or the teacher may want to ask the questions about the data, want to ask the questions about the topics. Now, types of questions. This is the ask, pose, call question, APC. Call, pose, ask question. You can ask, then what is the difference between this one and this one? Then you can call the student. First of all, you can call the students, you can ask the students, you can approach the student, then there is a pose, then ask. Then leading questions. Reverse questions, direct questions, relay or rebound questions. Manage the questions asked by the instructors. Don't call on the same few people all the times. You are in the training perspective lowest, so to avoid the paper chase approach. Never allow a wrong question to get uncorrected. Use questions as a one tool to correct the undesired student behavior. I think this is clear. Asked by the students, do not judge on face answers. Do not judge or face answers if you don't know. So you don't know the answer, do not do not realize the student that you don't know the answer. You say that is yeah, this is right, this is you can mold the questions. If an individual seems to monopolize time by asking too many questions, try to determine the cause of the problem. When a student asks a question, repeat it or rephrase it for the student's benefit or for your benefit. So if a question asked, if other cannot understand what is the main scenario, you can rearrange the questions, you can rearrange the question, you can repeat the question for the other student's benefit so that other can also understand what is the main question, what is the main logic behind this one. The next one is the active listening skills. Yeah, this is also the active listening skills by the students. Encourage the non-verbal signals. Encourage the verbal signals, restatements, reflection, questions, silence, summarize. So these are the various points by which we can use that there is active listening skills. There is active listening skills by the students, by the instructors, by the teacher, whosoever the audience, yeah, in front of which you are presenting out. The next one is the characteristics of the effective feedback. It is descriptive rather than the evaluative. It is specific rather than the general. It focuses on the behaviors and the actions. Behavior and the action in the sense, your knowledge, your skills, rather than your personalities. Then it is also directed towards the behavior or the actions rather than the receiver can do something about. It also provides only the amount of information that the receiver receives, so the receiver can use rather than the amount we would like to give. It is well timed. It can be checked to ensure the clear effectiveness, effective feedback. Then managing yourself in the heart of the battle. What are your own emotional hotspots? Prepare to deal with the feelings, audience as well as your own. Then be on the guard for the people who like to play the games. It is this disagreement. Try not to back the other question in the corners. Try to focus on the point of agreement other than the differences. Attract everything. Attract the problems or the issues, not the people. Then think before the speaking. Then pre-check physical facilities, light, heat, room, sitting, ventilation, equipment, material. So these are the few material that is used over here. The next part over there is selecting how to select, integrate learning or teaching technology with the teaching and the learning. So that is selecting and integrate. So first of all, we have to select the material, select the technology, then we have to integrate these technology in the teaching and the learning. These are the various national policy on the technology that is used in the school. So that requires the ICT for the teacher learning processes, management of the schools, capacity building of the schools, and so on. That means every field is interactive with the ICT. This is the we can see the URL that is given. You can see the various national policy on the technology. What is the demand for this? Oh, now, there are major reforms in the higher education, general teaching process, integration of the technology and the telecommunication. Three major areas: either you can use the instructional material, design and the development, either you can use any material, either you can use the design and the development criteria. Then instructional activities, instruction support resources, development and the maintenance. Then material production by using the computers and the software. Then word processor. Or yes, either you can use the material production, either you can use a word processor or the presentation etc. Then graphics that includes a video, scanning, and so on. Then internet access, how to use the internet criteria, why we are using the internet, what is the main content for using the internet only. Then web editor speciality, that is the example the Flash. So one is the instructional material production that is the software that includes software or the computer that includes the word processor that includes the presentation, graphics, internet access, web editor. Then next one is a training. Either we can use the software operations, either we can use the graphics creation and the design for the software creation, that is industrial, that is used for the training. The next one is the graphic creation and the material. Then next one is the graphic integration and the utilization, print operations and the file operations, file format. What are the various file format that is used over here? So one is the software operations, the next one is the graphics creation and the design, the next one is the graphic integration and the utilization, then the print operations and the file operations or the file format. What are the various print operations? What are the various file format that is used over here? Then instructional activities, classroom resources, projectors, computer, internet access, web and network based resources, interactive technology, institutional responsibility. Either we can use a syllabus, grade book, instructional content, communication scheduling, accessing or delivering the resources, then background the resources, web-based resources, advising, communication, help session, tutoring, etc. Then special resources, these are the streaming audio video, archive, that is the web-based like classroom live resources. Then also use this one. Now these are the various examples how we are using this one. Select the appropriate technology that depends on this.